And we're live here on Fantasy NBA tonight. I don't have a cool intro like a damn best person at Aaron Brewski on a Friday edition of Fantasy NBA tonight, but I changed my scheme up a little bit. I'm at Mikasa. You get to see home of the miracle. Yeah, you get to see the couch, the living room a little bit here on this Friday edition of Fantasy NBA tonight. And on top of that, I have apple cider. That's pretty cool. Apple cider and 7-Up. So, woo me. For those of you who are just now joining us tonight here on Fantasy NBA tonight, I know there's the Golden State Warriors versus the LA Lakers, which is actually a game where the Lakers are winning last time I checked. It's been a little while since I checked. But if for those of you who were able to join us here on Fantasy NBA tonight, this is a hoop-ball.com presentation. What we like to do here on Fantasy NBA tonight is answer all of your fantasy basketball questions. Now, if you have a question that you'd like to get on the show, all you have to do is leave your question down in the live chat, and myself, me, and I will answer all of your fantasy basketball questions here on tonight's show. And hey, while you're watching the show, if you can do us a huge favor and hit that thumbs up button so that we do know that you guys enjoyed this show, you guys like this show. And also, while you're here and you're already hitting that thumbs up button, you're getting ready to type in your question, hit that subscribe button. Become a subscriber of the show and keep up to date with all the things that are going on here at hoop-ball.com and our YouTube channel. Excuse me, I just got done eating dinner, got food in my mouth a little bit. Again, for those of you who are joining us, you guys get to see Mikasa a little bit. It's a little dirty, you know. That's me. I'm a bit of a busy guy. I'm a busy bee, but I'm here monitoring your guys' questions. Again, I've been waiting to answer all of your guys' questions, especially after seeing what Dan Besbris and Aaron Brewski were able to do earlier today on Fantasy NBA today. It was a fun show, and breaking news happened actually. We're going to keep the show going on for another week. That's right, another week of just answering all of your guys' fantasy basketball questions before we go to the premium side. Speaking of that premium side, if you guys were wanting to become premium in-season members, and so you guys can continue seeing this show live every single Friday night. Excuse me, again, just got done eating dinner. All you have to do is go down in the description below and click on that Hoop Ball link. It's a premium in-season membership down in the description. You click on that. If you use promo code SWISH, that's right, SWISH, something that I do every time I shoot the ball, SWISH, you guys will actually get 15% off the in-season package. Again, I'm waiting for the viewership to go up a little bit here on Fantasy NBA tonight. And what we like to do here, once again, is answer all of your fantasy basketball questions. Now, to get your question answered, once again, all you have to do is put your question down in the live chat. If we don't get any questions, what we're going to do is we're going to run down tonight's slate of games and kind of rattle off all of the stats that happened in our initial reactions from the game. But, of course, it's a lot more fun to interact with all of our fans and all of our listeners. Again, I'm just going to wait here a little bit longer. I'm going to pull up tonight's slate of games, see what's going on in the Laker game, and see what's happened in the world of the NBA. Also, guys, do us a huge favor and hit that like button on all these videos. We see all the support that you guys have been giving us, and it's truly appreciated, and it helps us actually be seen on YouTube. The more subscribers that we have and the more likes that we have, it actually makes our viewership goes up on these videos. So I truly recommend and I truly plead to you guys to leave those thumbs up button, leave the subscription, hit the subscription button, and hey, become subscribers on iTunes. Leave us a rating there so we can shoot up the iTunes charts, because we really want to make this show as best as it can be, and the only way we do so is by your guys' support, which you guys have been throwing our way all this week. And again, it's truly appreciated. And it looks like our viewership is going to be at its max peak tonight. I do know that there's a game still going on, so I wasn't expecting too much, especially on a Friday night when people are trying to party it all up at the end of a long week. But our very first game was the Atlanta Hawks versus the Washington Wizards in Washington. Atlanta takes the L 95-92. It was actually a strong comeback from the Atlanta Hawks in that second half, but unfortunately they were unable to get over that hump. One disappointing player, as we're going to go down the box score here, one disappointing player out of that starting five has been Kent Bazemore. I think this is a perfect buy low moment for Kent Bazemore, and it's been fun trying to go out there and go and own him. And so Kent Bazemore played 27 minutes tonight. He had 0 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks on 0 of 7 shooting. Gosh, that sucks. He did not get to the free throw line, and he only turned the ball over once, but he did have 3 fouls, which kept him out of the game for the majority of the time, but plus he just was not making any shots. Paul Millsap played 32 minutes. He had 16 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals. No blocks, but he was 5 of 14 from the field, which is not that good, 35.7%. He was also 5 of 10 from the free throw line. So he got there 10 times and only made half of them, which is not good either. He did make a 3-pointer, but he also had 3 turnovers. It was just not a good night for Paul Millsap. Dwight Howard played 29 minutes. He scored 20 points and had 12 rebounds, another double-double for Dwight Howard. 1 assist and 3 steals. No blocks, though, to add that to his credit. He was 7-12 from the field. He was actually 6-12 from the free throw line. Again, another 50% shooter from the free throw line. And he had 4 turnovers in this game. He also battled foul trouble. He had 4 fouls in this game. Kyle Korver, very quiet in his 20 minutes. He had 3 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. So at least he gave you a little bit of variety in his stat sheet. He was 1 of 9 from the field, which was not good at all. He did not make it to the free throw line, and he as well had 4 turnovers. The Hawks just battled turnovers all night long because Dennis Schroeder also had 4 turnovers, but he played 32 minutes, had 20 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and no defensive stats to his name. The person who played the most minutes off the bench was Tim Hardaway Jr., who is making a name for himself off that Hawks bench, knocking down 3-point shots and playing actually really good defense. He played 28 minutes off the bench for the Hawks, had 10 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal, no blocks on 3 of 7 shooting, 4-4 from the free throw line, but he did not knock down a 3-point shot and did only turn the ball over once. Again, with Tim Hardaway Jr., he's going to get the minutes whenever Kyle Korver or Kent Bazemore is struggling. And right now, Bazemore is struggling, and he's struggling bad. Ben, what's going on? I just flipped over to the live chat here, and Fred, you actually asked a question. Said, is it time to go all in on Terrence Jones? It's been 2 games, 28 minutes, and then tonight he was a huge grab for me on FanDuel. We'll get to his stat line in just a minute because I do not have it in front of me. I don't know if this is a rush after to go get him, but if he was dropped, I'm definitely either one, if I have that roster spot open, going to go add him as soon as this show is over. And before you go, please hit that thumbs up button. Or I'm actually going to wait and see for one more game when Dante Cunningham is back. And if he has now proven to deserve to be in that rotation for Alvin Gentry, because it was just 2 games ago where he got a coach's decision and sat out the entire game. That's just not what you want to see, an inconsistent minutes rotation for Terrence Jones. But I do think he's a strong fit next to Anthony Davis. It's been disappointing that he hasn't gotten these minutes before, but he was a nice show. He had nice showings in the preseason. After the last 2 games, the 28 minutes last night and now tonight next to Anthony Davis, he's someone that you want to keep on your eye. I don't know if you have to rush to go after him, but he's definitely someone that I'm having on my radar right now. And if he's available and I have an open roster spot, I'm definitely adding him tonight so I can have him tomorrow and have him throughout the weekend. Ben, what's going on, man? Appreciate you guys joining us here on Fantasy NBA tonight. Ben says, you proved me wrong about Markieff Morris. Hats off to you, sir. Thank you. He's a man. He plays defense. I really think he's going to be a good fit for that team. Everyone forgets how good he was for Phoenix as that third scorer for Phoenix. So I think as long as he finds his niche and just plays within that system for Scott Brooks and is that third scorer, is that third option for the Washington Wizards, he can continue putting up lines. Similar to tonight, I don't think it's going to be, the 18 points, but I think, 14 points in the rebounding, I think can still be there. And speaking of Washington, thank you for bringing him up. We're going to go over to the Washington side, and it's going to be, it's going to be starting at the top with Otto Porter, who had a nice night, double-double the night before. And the game before, but tonight he played 37 minutes. It was pretty quiet. 8 points, 2 assists, 0 steals, 0 blocks on 4 of 7 shooting. Did not get to the free throw line, did not knock down a 3-pointer, and did have 1 turnover to his name. Markieff Morris, probably the surprise pick. He was only owned in 8% of leagues on FanDuel. 32 minutes, 18 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals, 1 block on 5 of 13 shooting. So the percentages were not there, but he was 7 of 9 from the free throw line. He did knock down a 3-pointer, and he only had 2 turnovers. So other than the field goal percentage, the guy filled up the stat sheet for you tonight. Marcin Gortat continues to do double-double things. He's a quiet player that no one ever looks at in the middle of your drafts and then continues to just be a steady player to have on your roster. Huge fan of Marcin Gortat. He played 30 minutes. He had 12 points, 15 rebounds, 1 steal, and 1 block on 5 of 8 shooting, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, and only turned the ball over twice. Bradley Beal finally had that breakout game. Everyone was buying low on him. He has early round potential. Again, the injury scares are a risk, but he has early round potential, and that's exactly what he proved tonight in his 39 minutes, scoring 28 points with 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and a block. He was 6 of 16 from the field, so the shooting was not great at all, but got to the line 14 times and knocked down 13 of them, also knocking down 3 3-pointers. The 5 turnovers, though, were gross. Gosh, that's a nightmare. John Wall, the starting point guard, played 32 minutes, had 21 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals on 7 of 17 shooting. This was just not a good shooting night for anybody from either team. 6 of 8 from the free throw line. He did knock down a three-pointer on his 1 of 2 attempts and only turned the ball over twice. He has already been ruled out for Saturday night's game. So for those of you who have John Wall in your lineup and you need to go take him out and replace him now, if there's another point guard that you have in your weekly setups, unfortunately, you will not have John Wall heading into Saturday night. It has already been reported that he is going to be resting on that game. Off the bench, the person who played the most minutes was Thomas Satoransky. They talked about him passing up Ramon Sessions in the rotation, and he did so. He got the minutes tonight, 21 minutes. He only scored 4 points with 3 rebounds and 1 assist on 2 of 6 shooting. Again, not a good shooting night. And he also had 3 turnovers. I think Andrew Nicholson's the only real person off the bench that's going to continue to have a stable role, and his role will pick up as soon as someone gets injured on that front line, whether it be a Markieff, whether it be a Marcin Gortat. But I think his minutes are pretty safe to get right around 8 to 15 minutes a game. I know that's a large margin of 7 minutes, but I do think he'll continue to get the minutes. Fred says NFBKC, I'll have to overpay first and see later. Yeah, see, you don't want to. I don't know if you want to overpay for him. I think he has the potential to be a top 75 and then at most probably a top 60 player. I don't think he'll ever exceed. Honest, I don't think he'll ever exceed a top 75 player this season. But if you're overpaying, you're going to be overpaying for a guy who is, 1, an injury risk, and 2, not promised any minutes as soon as Dante Cunningham comes back and as soon as he gets back into the doghouse of Alvin Gentry. So you have to take that into account before putting out a bid for a guy like Terrence Jones. As we now move on to the next game on the slate, which was a 96-87 loss for the Miami Heat against the Toronto Raptors. Now let's start off with the Toronto Raptors, who happened to get the 9-point win. DeMarre Carroll played 20 minutes, did not score the basketball. He got 1 rebound and did absolutely nothing else for you. He didn't even turn over the ball. He was so quiet in this game, it wasn't even funny. It was almost like he wasn't even there. Pascal Siakam, the rookie, 16 minutes, 8 points, 3 rebounds on 4 of 6 shooting, and he also had a turnover. Jonas Valanciunas, it's the breakout year, right, guys? Well, let's find out. Let's see what his stat sheet says. 27 minutes, 5 points, 11 rebounds, 1 steal, 2 blocks on 1 of 2 shooting, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. Breakout. Stop it. DeMar DeRozan, 36 minutes, 34 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists on 14 of 26 shooting, 6 of 6 from the free throw line. Did not knock down a three-pointer, but we come to expect that now from DeMar DeRozan. He had 4 turnovers early in the first quarter, then did not turn the ball over again for the rest of the game. Kyle Lowry played 41 minutes, which was a team high, had 13 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, and 3 blocks. He did just shoot 4 of 15 from the field, which is not good, but he was 3 of 3 from the free throw line. He also knocked down 2 3-pointers, but he did turn the ball over 5 times, which is not good at all. The person who played the most minutes off the bench was the one and only Patrick Patterson. In 29 minutes, he scored 4 points with 7 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. I think the only thing you have to take into account is that DeMar DeRozan is taking more initiative on the offensive end of the floor. He's scoring the basketball as much as he can. I believe he's averaging 34 points per game right now in the early part of this season. I do think that's going to start coming down. I do think they're going to start using Jonas Valanciunas more. He did not look good through the Olympics. He did not look good over the summer. But this is supposedly the breakout year. I think as soon as he has a couple good games, I think you could really sell high just on his name alone. And then the stats, if they back it up, he'd be a nice sell high product. And I'm not a huge fan of Jonas Valanciunas. Over the offseason, when Dan and I were talking, I stamped him with somebody else's headache just because the value isn't there for where you were going to reach for him. Hopefully you didn't have to get him in like the 5th round, but if you did, hopefully he starts to work out for you. Looking back in the chat board now, Jessica Lyle says, which coach is getting fired first? Ooh, that is a great question. Looks like Ben Carnell says Alvin Gentry. That's a really good question. I know that a lot of people are like Brett Brown probably in their head. I don't think that's going to happen. Coach who gets fired first. That is a great question. I don't know. I guess I'm going to say Alvin Gentry because they're losing so many games, but I think they're going to give him a pass only because they're not healthy. That's a really good question, though. I want to hear what you guys say. Do you guys believe with Ben? Do you guys think it's Alvin Gentry? You guys leave your guys' comments down in the live chat. I would love to hear what you guys think on who you think will be the first coach that gets fired. Shane Mahan says, Am I about to drop Rocco to bring Jay Rich on roster? But I'm liking what I saw from RHJ tonight. Who's the best of the 3 of them rest of season? Huge fan of Josh Richardson. I think Josh Richardson is going to be a huge asset to have on your team, especially later down in the stretch. I have him over Rondae Hollis-Jefferson. Josh Richardson is probably going to get you right around 12 points. He'll get you a steal and a half, a three-pointer. I think you're going to see him get to the free throw line at least 4 times per game. He'll get you those little numbers. I think he's going to fill up the stat sheet, not in a big way. He's just going to fill up in every single category. I have him above Robert Covington. I don't think Robert Covington is going to be that good of a player over Jay Rich, because when Robert Covington is hot, he's one of the best players to own. But when he's cold, like he is right now, he's going to hurt your team, and you're going to be dealing with this dilemma that you're having right now, Shane, is do I drop him? Do I keep him? Which one should I do? And then with Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, this is a development year. I think you're going to see highs and you're going to see lows with Rondae Hollis-Jefferson. Or with Jay Rich, I think you see the potential already, and I don't think it's going to be that long for him to get there. He has lower upside than Gary Harris, but he's right up there with that type of player. So rest of season, I'm going to go with Jason Richardson. Come on, Vince. Josh Richardson. All right, next game here. We have the Charlotte Hornets versus the Brooklyn Nets in one of the most boring games that was a close game and entertaining. And the Charlotte Hornets got the win, so I guess we can start off with them. And we start off with Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, who played 33 minutes. He had 6 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 block on 3 of 5 shooting. He did not make it to the free throw line. He did not make a three-pointer, but at the same time, he did not turn over the basketball, which was very good, and they're probably the reason why this team was able to get the win, because they were limited. They did not turn the ball over that well at all, or did not turn over the ball much, which is good. Like that last sentence just did not come out well at all. Marvin Williams played 29 minutes. He had 6 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists on 2 of 13 shooting, which is just rough, but at least you see that he's still being aggressive after what he did last season. He also did not turn over the basketball. Cody Zeller did Cody Zeller things. He had 10 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, which is actually a little bit of a surprise. I thought maybe you'd see the 2 or 3 in this game. He was struggling in the beginning and then started to pick it up around that second half. He also had 2 steals and a block. I think if he's on the waivers right now and you need a center that can get you blocks, steals, and the rebounding numbers, I think you can go after Cody Zeller and feel confident with that pickup. He shot 3 of 7 from the field. He was 4 of 5 from the free throw line, and he did not turn over the basketball. That's 3 players in the row that did not turn over the basketball for the Charlotte Hornets. Nicholas Batum got the start at shooting guard, played 36 minutes. He had 18 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists on 7 of 13 shooting, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, 2 of 5 from three-point range, and he only turned the ball over 3 times, and he had the ball in his hands quite a bit in this one, so that's actually good to see that it did not exceed up to 5. Kemba Walker played 31 minutes and scored 30 points with 6 rebounds, 1 assist, but no defensive stats to his name. He did shoot 50% though, which is really good on 11 of 22 shooting, 5 of 8 from the free throw line. He knocked down 3 3-pointers in this one. You knew he was going to dominate when there's no Jeremy Lin, and even if there was Jeremy Lin, he was definitely going to dominate. The player who played the most minutes off the bench, Spencer Hawes, who had 13 points and 5 rebounds, as well as a block on 5 of 8 shooting. He was 2 of 2 from the free throw line. He also knocked down a 3-point shot. He's quietly being very good. Spencer Hawes has been quietly very good off the bench while Roy Hibbert is still, healing from the knee injury or the superstar that he is. He's still recovering. Spencer Hawes has tempted and has gotten right around 20 minutes per game off the bench. And he's been playing very well. So I think he's someone that if you need – and this is only in deeper leagues, but if you need like a 3-pointer out of position, you need someone to pick up and they have a 4-game week, I think Spencer Hawes is a good little addition. I also think if you want to value play on DFS slates, I think he's a guy you can look at to get you right around 20 points in his 20 minutes. Not 20 real points, but 20 DFS points. That's something you guys can consider. Going to the chat board here, I see you guys ask a couple more questions. Just Kalau says, will Josh Rich start over Dion Waiters? Dion used to starts for OKC. He's definitely starting over Dion Waiters. You see what happens when Dion Waiters starts games. You see what happens even in good games. Dion Waiters makes bad decisions. You see the game against the Sacramento Kings? I did too. The only reason why that game went into overtime is because Dion Waiters did not want to let go of that basketball. I think Dion Waiters is definitely going to be coming off the bench. He's going to be a 6-man. I think he'll have a role with this team. But as long as Josh Richardson continues to play the defense and continues to knock down 3-point shots and is consistent, which most expect him to be, especially for the Miami Heat that need that at that wing position, at that 2 spot. For one, that lineup is so much better. They just need a power forward there in Miami, but to have a starting five that includes Goran Dragic, Josh Richardson, Justice Winslow. Once Josh McRoberts comes back, I fully expect that to probably be it. But for defensive purposes, we could say James Johnson and Hassan Whiteside. That's really not that bad of a team. I don't see why Dwyane Wade starts over a guy like Josh Richardson when he can knock down 3-point shots, and you're going to have Goran Dragic being able to drive, kick, drive, and score and take on such a big role scoring that Josh Richardson is probably going to be ignored just like he was in drafts, and he'll be open for the wide open shot. So I do think there's value in Josh Richardson starting, and I do think he's better than Dwyane Wade, so he's definitely going to get that start. If I hold on to Jay Rich, I'll have 3 Heat, him, Tyler, and Winslow. Guess I'm all on the Heat. I'm on the Heat too. I got Tyler Johnson and Josh Richardson in a couple of my leagues. I think Justice Winslow, if he starts picking it up, I don't know. I also think that I was going to say sell high, but I don't think you can sell that high on a guy like Justice Winslow. And with Tyler Johnson, I think that he's not someone that you should be handcuffed to. I think he's going to be a good player, but I think there's going to be other options out there on the way where you can get a hot pickup and drop a Tyler Johnson. Not a lot of guys are looking at him so hardcore that you can't, put him out there and then come back to him a little bit later. How many players should you have on the same team? Seems to be the most, I think. What does it say? 3 seems to be the most, I think. Honestly, I think it just depends on the scheduling. I mean, if they're 3 dominant, I'll put it to you like this. If I have the Golden State Warriors and I have the ability to get Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and I don't know, let's go Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Kevin Durant from a trade. Never would happen, right? Theoretically, let's say it does. I'm not getting rid of any of those guys. I'm not getting rid of any of them. I would want all 3 of those guys on my team. I think what it depends on is really what is their schedule like when it comes to playoff time and how are they producing. I'm not going to give up on any of those players unless they are not producing. So 1, they have to be producing, and 2, I think you have to look over their calendar schedule and make sure that they're going to hold value at the end of the year when you have all 3 of those players on your team. Because, I would love to have Miami Heat players, 3 Miami Heat players, and they have a 5-game week heading into the playoffs, and the 5-game week, 4-game week, 4-game week. That would be solid to have, especially if they're solid players that you want on the end of your roster or just even in the middle of your roster. There's good players to have, even if they're on the same team. Josh Richardson, even at his best month last year, was ranked outside of 150. Is it realistic to expect to have a huge jump? Yeah, I really do think it is. The Miami Heat need help, and that's exactly what he brings. He brings defensive help. He also brings athleticism. He also brings 3-point shooting. He's going to be a huge part of that team. I don't know what you're expecting. I'm looking for him to finish somewhere in around 80, top 80, and there's a good chance he exceeds that. He can probably get to top 75. I'm not expecting him to be a top 50 player, but I do think the jump is real. I think he's going to have a huge jump. I think he's someone that you are going to want to be stashing. There's a reason why we have him in the B150, and there's a reason why pretty high in the B150. And there's a reason why you're seeing his name pop up on a lot of big box sites as someone you need to stash, is because that jump is going to be real, and he's going to be someone that you want on your roster. How is Tyler Johnson's value? Was Jay Rich back? I think it stays the same. He's going to play backup, and it looks like he's going to have a huge role as a backup player for the Miami Heat. Even when and the funny thing is I think the person who takes the biggest hit is Dwyane Wade, and that's fine. Dwyane Wade has a nice couple games. He was good through the playoffs last year. He's going to have his role. He's going to be better suited for deeper leagues. I'd say 16-team leagues, probably best. But he's not someone that you should be clamoring to. And with Tyler Johnson, he's going to get his minutes, but he's going to be on and off waivers. There's going to be times where he's hot. There's going to be times where he's cold. If Goran Dragic ever goes down with an injury, or if Jay Rich goes down with an injury once again and Tyler Johnson proves he can produce in those minutes, he's going to continue seeing what he's getting. But when Jay Rich comes back, he's going to step in there. He's going to be that starting 2 guard. I don't think you're going to expect it right away, but I do think he's going to be someone that's going to give you top 80 value. And to get that, 1, in probably the last round of a lot of your drafts because of the way he was injured, or 2, off the waiver wire, you don't want to let that go, and you don't want to let that slip through your hands. So I would say if he's still out there and he's available, you need to go get him. I think he's going to be a very good asset to your team. As we head back to the box scores here, we go over to Brooklyn, who took the 95-99 loss. We just went over Charlotte. Let's start with Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, who a lot of people are starting to fall in love with, especially after a game like this one. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson played 32 minutes and had 11 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 steals. It's exactly what people were hoping to see from Rondae Hollis-Jefferson with no Jeremy Lin there. and he produced. He finally fit in. He scored some points, and he filled out a stat sheet. He was 4 of 5 from the field, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. He knocked down 2 3-pointers on both of his attempts. And the best part is he did not turn over the basketball, so he did not hurt you in any way. Trevor Booker keeps putting up double-doubles. This guy is a double-double machine. He's averaging 8 points and 8 rebounds right now, I believe, on the season. He played 28 minutes. He had 12 points, 13 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. He was also only 8% owned in fantasy DFS leagues. He was 5 of 9 from the field, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. He's still taking a 3-point attempt. It did not go in, but he only turned the ball over 1 time, so he did not hurt you at all. Brook Lopez played 28 minutes. No Jeremy Lin. He had to stay in there. He had to play minutes, and he played well. He had 18 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. No defensive stats, though. So you wanted to see the rebounds go up, and you definitely wanted to see those blocks be in there, but unfortunately, nothing of that tonight. He took 17 shots and only made 7 of them. So I guess it wasn't really that great of a night, but he still knocked down 2 3-pointers after knocking down 4. And the year before that, and for his entire career, he's only made 4 3-pointers. He had 4 3-pointers and had 34 points the other night, and now he had 2 tonight, and he took 6 attempts of them, which I just think is the weirdest thing. I think he's trying to get the Pau Gasol effect. I don't know. He also had 3 turnovers, so that's something to take into consideration as well. Bhuyan Bogdanovich got the start. He had 14 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist on his 33 minutes of action. He also knocked down 4 of 4 from the free throw line and 2 3-pointers. He did only shoot 4 of 17, so that was also a bad night for Bogdanovich. And Isaiah Whitehead started in place of Jeremy Lin, played 23 minutes. He had 8 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block on 4 of 9 shooting, so he filled in just fine. Off the bench, who played the most minutes? Sean Kilpatrick, of course. He played 32 minutes, had 19 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals on 5 of 15 shooting. He got to the line 10 times and made 7 of them. He also knocked down 2 3-pointers. People are falling in love with both Sean Kilpatrick and Rondae Hollis-Jefferson. I do think Kilpatrick is going to be an inconsistent scorer, but if you need scoring on your team, he's someone that you definitely want to keep in mind. If you're able to wait a little bit and wait for the development, and especially if you're in a dynasty league, you don't want to let Rondae Hollis-Jefferson go, but you've seen the potential of what he's had. So he's definitely someone that you're going to want to keep. I wouldn't have him above a guy like Josh Richardson, which I believe was a question earlier in the show. Shane Mahan asks, what's up with Robin Lopez? Really kicking myself for drafting him above Nurkic. I thought Rolo would be more of a sturdy producer. You know, I've talked about it the last couple days, Shane, and it's really the fact that Chicago needs offense to spread that floor. Taj Gibson can hit the mid-range jump shot, and Mirotic can knock down the 3. And although it was an open competition for the majority of the offseason, and people were worried, like, oh, who's going to get the most minutes between the two out of the power forward position, it's really looking like Taj Gibson's taking up the minutes at the center spot, and Mirotic is playing the 4 and taking up that stretch 4 role, which is really opening up the lanes for guys like Dwyane Wade, Jimmy Butler, and Rajon Rondo to continue doing what they've been doing their whole career, which is slicing down past the basket, moving around, and having room to run and really operate wherever they need to and have the floor space for them. So I think that he is in trouble. I don't think he's someone that you want to drop. I mean, even in his limited minutes, he's producing. But yeah, I mean, I'd be kicking myself right now if I passed up on Nurkic. I didn't have the opportunity to get him, so I'm not too mad at myself. I didn't have the opportunity to get him in any of our leagues. So yeah, at least you didn't know, and I know why you chose Rolo, but I'd be kicking myself as well. Sorry to throw the hate on you. Ben says, Vince, have any insider info on Drew Holiday's return date? Hopeful for mid to late November. Movie dude, I know it's only a week, but Matthews is starting to scare me. Am I nuts? Wes Matthews. Yeah. I just traded him away. I just recently made a trade in one of my leagues that included Wes Matthews and Enes Kanter. This guy forgot to draft centers on his team, so he definitely needed the rebounding. The name alone brings 3-pointers when you say Wes Matthews, and plus Enes Kanter could be a double-double guy. I sold them both pretty high. I got a steal in this league, and you could say this league is crazy, but I got Eric Bledsoe in that deal. So, bam, Wes Matthews and Enes Kanter for Eric Bledsoe, but I am taking the injury risk. So, yeah, I think you're not nuts to be scared. But now with Dirk out for a while, according to Rick Carlisle, after tonight's game, and he did not return after feeling Achilles soreness, one person that you want to keep on your radar, and those who have Rolo or those who are looking for a big man, you might want to go get Dwight Powell. Dwight Powell is going to fill in. He's going to fill in just fine. They were speaking highly of him throughout the offseason. They were speaking about how well he's really going to start having a role with the team and how well he's been producing both at the center position and at the power forward position. We both know, I'm talking to one other person, but we all know how Andrew Bogut's injury history has been. So that it's at any time you're going to see him go down with an injury. Dwight Powell, I think, is someone that you want to go get on your team, even in standard leagues. I think he's going to have standard league value. He's already producing in his limited minutes. Go get him. No one's really talking about him yet. With Dirk out, Dwight Powell is going to fill in. He's going to fill in just fine. Excuse me, as I have a sip of my apple cider. Excuse me there. Super Talk says, can DeRozan keep it up? I mean, he really doesn't have the help there. I don't know what it is, but Jonas Valanciunas is not producing the way everyone hoped he would, right? I mean, who would have thunk? Who would have thunk that? Who would have thunk that Jonas Valanciunas wasn't going to have his breakout year? I know it's early. I'm not tooting somebody's horn right now, but someone, don't know who would have thunk. Who would have thunk it? Who just would have thunk that Jonas Valanciunas' value was getting overhyped once again? But yeah, no, I don't know if he's going to keep it up to 34 points per game, but the guy can score the basketball. I mean, that's all that matters. They need him to score the basketball. They needed him to take a step up offensively, and he's doing so, and he's doing so in a big way. You have to applaud him for it. He's fun to watch. He's athletic to watch, and any given night you're going to see him put a guy on a poster. So I don't know if keeping it up by 34 points per game, but I do think he's going to continue to be a high-level producer for that team. I just want him to knock down three-point shots. That's all he needs to do. If he knocks down three-point shots, he's basically Paul George. And I also love the fact that he can get to the free throw line a lot. So that's something you got to consider. Going to the next game, Derrick Rose's very first time returning to Chicago. New York Knicks get the win over the Chicago Bulls, 117-104, in a very fun game on ESPN. Carmelo Anthony will start with the New York Knicks. Played 35 minutes, had 25 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and a block on 9 of 22 shooting. He was 5 of 5 from the free throw line, knocked down 2 3-pointers. Good news is he only turned the ball over 1 time. Kristaps Porzingis, Jeff Hornacek said he's going to be touching the ball more. He needs to take over those mismatches. And guess what? They did so tonight. He played 32 minutes, had 27 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist on 10 of 15 shooting. He was knocking down those jumpers. 3 of 5 from the free throw line and 4 of 7 from three-point range. Kristaps Porzingis is the real deal. He is Porzingis Christ. And guess what? He did not turn over the basketball. In a slow-paced game, Joakim Noah always seems to produce, at least early on in the season. 34 minutes, he had 16 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals in his return to Chicago, shooting 7 of 11 from the field, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. And get this, he took a 3-point attempt. Who would have thunk that was going to happen? Not me. I'm not tooting my horn on this one. He also had 0 turnovers in this game. Knicks really controlled the basketball very well in this one. Courtney Lee actually had a good game, and he played 40 minutes, which was a team high. 17 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, no defensive stats to his name, but he was 8 of 10 from the field. He did not go to the free throw line. He only took 1 3-point attempt, and he did knock it down. And guess what? He also did not turn over the basketball. Derrick Rose was almost on triple-double watch here. He played 38 minutes. He had 15 points, 7 rebounds, and 11 assists in his Chicago return. He also had 1 steal and 1 block. He was 6 of 16 shooting, which is not great, but he did go 3 of 3 from the free throw line. He did not take a 3-point attempt, but he did have 3 turnovers. The player who played the most minutes off the bench, Brandon Jennings, and he played well off the bench in his 22 minutes. He had 6 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists on 2 of 4 shooting, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. And he also knocked down a 3-point shot and only turned the ball over 1 time. I don't think there's anything that completely stands out to you on this team other than you were hoping that Porzingis was going to get more touches. You were hoping that Hornacek was going to keep his word and let Porzingis take advantage of some of the mismatches that he gets because he wasn't getting the ball. And guess what? That next game against Chicago, he got the touches. He was given the opportunity to score the basketball, and he did so, scoring those 27 points. So that's great to see. I'm a huge fan of Porzingis. Everyone's a huge fan of Porzingis. There's nothing that you can't not like about this guy. So there you go. Going back to the chat board here, looks like we have a couple more questions. Yuha says, do you think Justin Anderson will be more relevant after the Dirk injury? I do think he'll be more relevant because I do think Harrison Barnes can play some stretch 4, which means Justin Anderson can definitely get some minutes. And we here at Hoopball are a huge fan of Justin Anderson. So, yes, I do think he becomes more relevant now that Dirk is injured. But, again, I have Dwight Powell as my number 1 beneficiary off the Dirk injury. Drop Frazier for Holiday right now. It's not the worst idea in the world, but I've said it a couple times here on this show, is that I think Tim Frazier has earned a role with this team. 1, he's shown that he can distribute the basketball. 2, he's shown he can score the basketball. And 3, Drew Holiday has an injury history that could use some easing, because I don't think Tyreke Evans is a good fit for the team. The things that he does for the team is not that well. He's not a distributor. I'm talking about Tyreke Evans. And when he scores the basketball, he scores in bad ways, trying to penetrate to the basket and being basically a Lance Stevenson, and an overhyped Lance Stevenson. Plus, the knees are just done. So I think Tim Frazier is still going to be able to produce. I don't know if it's going to be a standard league level. So it just depends on the size of league you're in. But, yeah, if Holiday is out there, I'm stashing him away right now. I think it's a good stash. Movie Dude, someone just dropped Dirk in one of my leagues. I have a crappy waiver spot, so I won't get him. Why would they drop Dirk? I think my leagues are crazy when I'm trading Cantor and Wes Matthews for Eric Bledsoe. But, hey, there's some wackier ones out there. Movie Dude just proved it to me. Plus, there was also a TJ Warren for Jokic trade that happened like yesterday night or last night. I can't even talk. It's Friday. Give me a break. Last night, again, crazy things that get offered. Are you with Brewski on the board of the Justin Hamilton train? Yeah. I mean, I think Brook Lopez, there's a good chance he's not in a Brooklyn Nets uniform by the end of this season. So that means Justin Hamilton's going to get the minutes. And if he gets the minutes, he's shown that he can produce. He's going to be a top 100, top 115 guy, which is fine. But at the same time, a guy like Trevor Booker has been showing that given the minutes, he doesn't look like he's going anywhere. He's going to get you the double-double. But I think that's something that you can definitely take into account. And I honestly, things that someone that no one's really talking about with Trevor Booker, he's still on waiver, he's still on the wire. You can go pick him up right now. And I'm pulling up the correct stats, so I do not say anything that is wrong. I want to get it 100% correct, because this is one thing that no one's really talking about, and I think they should. Trevor Booker. It's the defensive stats, by the way. He is averaging 2.2 steals per game. 2.2 steals per game. The guy is not only getting you a double-double, not only is he knocking down 47% of his shots, which I do think that should be going up, he's also shooting 87% from the free throw line, and he's giving you 2.2 steals per game and 0.6 blocks per game. So Trevor Booker is higher on my list right now than Justin Hamilton, but rest of season outlook, I do think that Justin Hamilton holds top 100, top 115 value. So I don't know if Brewski is like super high on Hamilton. It just seemed like the opportunities were there. We are high on him here at Hoopball, especially on the B150. We were one of maybe two tops. I on 3 tops, but 1 or 2 sites. We were one of them that actually had Justin Hamilton in the top 150. So we're taking pride in that because we are seeing everything, and that's why you need to become a premium in-season member here at hoop-ball.com so you can get all this insight. We talk more in depth about the Brewski 150, the players that we see who are going up and going down here on this show when Aaron Brewski joins me on the show, when he joins you on Sunday for the waiver wire show, Monday's lineup show. I mean, there's so many things that we do to make sure that you guys are getting the best out of your premium in-season membership, as well as the numbers. There's something that they're working on that has to do with a lot of numbers that make sure that you're getting the right player and that you know what player you are getting by the numbers that you're seeing. And they're working on something right now that should be coming out very soon in the in-season membership. So I think this is a great time to do the plug to remind everyone that this is Fantasy NBA Tonight, and this is a hoop-ball.com presentation. And we're going to probably do this for another couple of days. I don't know if it's about another week, but for another more couple of days, we're going to do the Fantasy NBA Tonight show. For sure on Monday. How many days after that, I'm not quite sure. Aaron and I, as well as Dan Bespress, who's on Fantasy NBA Today, are going to talk about how many more days we're going to give this for free. But this becomes an in-season membership, and you need to go get one. If you use promo code SWISH, that's right. The thing I do every time I shoot the basketball is SWISH. SWISH. Again, it's Friday. I'm tired. You get 15% off the in-season membership, which is only $19.99 right now. Starting next week, it turns to $29.99. So you use promo code SWISH. You'll get 15% off $19.99, which is the cheapest you'll get. It's also cheaper than any big box site. Even at $29.99, it's cheaper than any big box site. So you definitely want to go get it now while it's cheap. And then on top of that, you're getting that 15% off by using promo code SWISH. As we now move on to the other side, and this is the Chicago Bulls side because we just got done talking about the New York Knicks, who took the 117-104 win in Chicago. We start with Jimmy Butler, who played 37 minutes. He had 26 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal on 7 of 15 shooting, 11 of 11 from the free throw line. He did knock down a three-pointer and did just turn the ball over twice. Taj Gibson played 30 minutes as a starter. He had 8 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block on 4 of 7 shooting. He did not make a free throw, but he only took 2 attempts, so he didn't kill you too much, and he only turned the ball over 1 time. Robin Lopez played the most minutes he's seen in quite a while, playing 28 minutes. He had 5 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 blocks. So he continues to get the blocks. He continues to produce where he needs to when he gets the minutes, and that's Robin Lopez. He was 2 of 6 from the field, which is not great. 1 of 2 from the free throw line, which is not great, but it doesn't hurt you. And he only turned the ball over twice, which is just fine. Dwyane Wade had another great game as a Chicago Bull. Played 33 minutes. He had 35 points, 10 rebounds, 1 assist. No defensive stats to his name, but it was 12 of 20 from the field. He's 6 of 8 from the free throw line. And looks like he's got some three-point legs now. He's a shooter, 5 of 7 from three-point range, and did turn the ball over 3 times. Rajon Rondo, everyone's favorite player, played 29 minutes, 4 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, no blocks, 2 of 10 from the field. Ugh. Did not get to the free throw line, luckily, because it would have hurt you again. Did not knock down a three-pointer, and he also had 2 turnovers. Rajon Rondo type of line now with Chicago. Nikola Mirotic actually had a really good game in his 21 minutes. He had 14 points and 6 rebounds. He also had a block. He was 4 of 10 from the field, which was not good. 4 of 4 from the free throw line and did knock down 2 3-pointers. Sorry about that. And then Doug McDermott actually saw the most minutes off the bench. He was also coming back from a concussion. He can clear concussion protocol to be able to play in this game. He played 26 minutes. He only had 6 points with 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and a steal on 3 of 5 shooting. And he did not knock down a three-pointer. Jose Barea says, my D'Angelo/Brolo for his Oladipo and Jokic. Who's wins? Oladipo and Jokic. Go get it done right now. That is the perfect buy low moment right there. If you're trading Brook Lopez and D'Angelo Russell for Victor Oladipo and Nikola Jokic, you need to go hit accept. Stop what you're doing. Look, I'm going to wait for you. All right, did you do it? All right, great. If not, I'll see you in a second. Hit that like button because I just helped you win in a great trade. If you just did that, you're awesome. Next game is the Los Angeles Clippers versus the Memphis Grizzlies. And as expected, at least for me, the Clippers got the 11-point victory in Memphis. Luke Mbah Moute got the start. He had 18 minutes, 4 points, 1 rebound with 3 steals, a block on 2 of 2 shooting. He did not go to the free throw line, and of course, he did not knock down a 3-point shot. Typical Luke Mbah Moute line. Blake Griffin played 35 minutes. He had 14 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal on 5 of 13 shooting, which could have been better. Only 38.5% from the field. He was 4 of 6 from the free throw line, which is an improvement. Did not knock down a 3-point shot, which is not to be expected most nights. But he did have 2 turnovers, which isn't terrible. DeAndre Jordan did a DeAndre Jordan type of line. 6 points and 21 rebounds for DJ. Wow, what a rebounding night from DeAndre Jordan. He also had a steal and 2 blocks. He was 3 of 8 from the field, which is not great, but he also did not get to the free throw line, so he did not hurt you in any way, shape, or form, except for the fact that he did have 3 turnovers. JJ Redick, the first quarter assassin, played 27 minutes, had 12 points, 1 rebound, and 2 steals. He was 4 of 10 from the field, 3 of 3 from the free throw line, and only got you 1 3-pointer. And, of course, the one and only Chris Paul, who started. He played 32 minutes, 27 points, 4 rebounds, 11 assists, 6 steals, and 2 blocks. This is why you pay a first-round pick for a guy like Chris Paul. He was 6 of 16, which is not great, but he got to the free throw line 15 times and only missed once. He also knocked down a 3-point shot in this one and turned the ball over just 1 time. Person who played the most minutes off the bench, it was a close one. It was a battle, but Jamal Crawford got it by just a few seconds over Austin Rivers. He finished with 9 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists on 3 of 12 shooting, which is not great off the bench. And then Austin Rivers didn't do much better, doing 2 of 9. So that is the Clippers side. It looks like we have another question. Why hasn't DeAndre been able to score lately? I haven't really. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I haven't got to watch too many Clipper games, and mainly due to the fact we already know what the Clippers do. They go through a lot of Chris Paul. They go to JJ Redick early. I call JJ Redick the first quarter assassin because that's exactly what he is. He scores a lot of his points in the first quarter, getting off of those screens and doing. That's all right, movie dude. I saw what you said. Hasn't, not haven't. Who cares? It's Friday. It's all right. I've stumbled over everything. But no, you have JJ Redick getting the car that he's a first quarter assassin. And then you have Chris Paul doing his thing. He needs to score. Plus Blake Griffin's proving why he was an all-star and why he needs to be having the ball in his hands. So there's just not enough touches to go around. So that's probably why you haven't seen DeAndre get his scoring up. But I still think he's going to average by the end of the season 12 points, 13 rebounds, a normal DeAndre Jordan type of line. One thing I do not agree with, though, is how do the owners say that he is better than DeMarcus Cousins? This isn't me being a homer, but he does one thing. That's catch alley-oops. The other thing is block shots. But if you can't make a free throw, stop it. Stop it. Ben Carnell, Jose Barrera, where are you from? That's a great question. Any sneaky DFS picks for tomorrow? Great question, Super Taco. As for those who don't know, I recently just won a PlayStation 4 on FanDuel. Also, last year I played a total of $700 on FanDuel and walked away with 12. So I did come up pretty big on DFS. We have a guy here over at hoop-ball.com named Brett Squirrels who does the DFS plays of the day. He's someone that you definitely want to read Monday through Friday. He has some great picks. He's also won pretty big here on here on DraftKings. I play more of the FanDuel type of game, but still DFS players here over at hoop-ball.com who have won and who have seen winnings before. Speaking of that, I'm looking over my winnings right now, and surprisingly, I'm actually in the money on some of these stuff. So that's pretty good because I thought I was having a bad night. But to answer your question, who are some of my sleepers? I'll just give you my stinker tinker time lineup of the night, and it'll probably change at some point. But I have Dennis Schroeder, Matthew Dellavedova starting at my point guard positions. I have Evan Fournier and Giannis Antetokounmpo as my shooting guards. I have Kent Bazemore and Matt Barnes as my 3. I have Paul Millsap and Jokic as my 4, and I have Boogie Cousins as my 5. That is my stinker tinker DFS lineup for this Friday night, and you guys can use that on Saturday. See how good that does. How good that does for you. Sorry, I'm reading the next question. Chiang Lime says, what to do with Bazemore, 11-team Roto 9-cat? He's tough to hold on to. I just traded for him, though. I think this is definitely a good buy low moment for Bazemore. I also think this is a good moment where you'll see him get dropped just because he's not such a big name. But if he gets dropped, you definitely want to have him on your team. The guy is going to pick it up. It's a slow start for Bazemore. I'm not worried about a first, 6-game, 7-game start. I don't even know what game the Hawks are on right now, but I'm not worried about this type of start. He's going to be a guy that can knock down 3-point shots. He's also a willing passer and a good passer, as we saw against the Sacramento Kings. He can steal the basketball. The guy can play. There's a reason why they kept him in Atlanta, and there's a reason why he got emotional for being in Atlanta. Is because he wants to be able to be productive for that team. I know Tim Hardaway Jr. is there, and he's been playing well off the bench, but that's exactly what he's going to be. He's going to be a 3-and-D guy off the bench. I think Thabo Sefolosha is going to be the same exact thing. They have their star. They have their core, the starters. They have their core in Atlanta, and Bazemore is a part of it. So I don't think it's time to drop him. I just think it's time to bench him for right now. I don't think he's as cold as Robert Covington is right now, although the last 2 games can put up a huge argument against that. PJ Tucker citing for 9-cat 12-team head-to-head. I don't know if there was an injury at all, but no. I'd have to look over that box score, which we'll get to here in just a few minutes as long as time doesn't run out. Cheong Lam, anyone to take advantage of with Dirk going down? I think we talked about both of the guys who I think I have down as my 1 and my 2 for biggest advantages. It's going to be It's going to definitely be Dwight Powell. Dwight Powell is definitely going to be the person that you're going to want to look at when he gets the minutes. He was already talked highly about during the offseason. I think Justin Anderson is also going to see a significant bump in minutes with Harrison Barnes being able to slide down to the 4 spot. And, of course, you have to take into account that Andrew Bogut, if he sees an uptick in minutes, there's an uptick chance that he's going to get injured because we all know about Bogut's injury history. So Dwight Powell can play the 4 and the 5. He's athletic. He's already produced in his limited minutes. He can shoot the mid-range jumper. He's athletic. He's kind of like a John Lure, but a little bit better. So I would say he takes the biggest uptick in minutes as well as being a producer. And then Justin Anderson's my number 2 option there. Will Gobert ever score in double digits on a regular basis? Ooh, not with this team. Not with this Jazz team. On a regular basis, no. Just because you have too many scores now. I mean, there's a reason why the Utah Jazz, like I have them 4th. I have them finishing 4th in the Western Conference. And I think that's where you're going to have Gobert's points total go down. You have Joe Johnson scores the basketball, Rodney Hood, Gordon Hayward, George Hill can score the basketball. And then, of course, you have Derek Favors, Trey Lyle scores. Boris Diaw can score the basketball, although he's more of an assist maker. So there's so many scoring options now for Gobert not to have the ball in his hands. Plus, he really can't shoot that well. So you saw it last season too, where Mason Plumlee would sag off of Gobert and make him become a passer or make him shoot the jump shot, and he's just not good at it. So on a regular basis, I don't think he will, but I do think you'll see the occasional night like 11 points and 15 rebounds or something like that. I have Matthews. I'm worried. What do you think? I just traded him away. He's gonna see uptick as well, just because but he's already been seeing like 15 shots. So that's the problem with a guy like Wes Matthews is he can score. He's just an inconsistent scorer, and but he plays defense. He's gonna be on the floor as long as he's not injured. So I mean, you can't drop him. He's not a droppable asset. And if you do drop him, there better be something really good on the waivers, like a Chandler Parsons. If he's there, he's coming back, I believe, this weekend. So you definitely want to go pick him up if he's there. But yeah, I don't think he's going to be worthy of. I just traded him away, Chiang. I'll say it like that. I just traded him away. I traded him in a deal that you got me Eric Bledsoe. And I took the risk on Eric Bledsoe, who I don't think is going to finish out the entire season either. Let's move on to the Memphis side, guys. There's a lot of games here we got to cover, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to cover it here in these last 8 minutes here of Fantasy NBA Tonight. First off, I want to thank everyone who is joining me here on this Friday edition of Fantasy NBA Tonight of a hoop-ball.com presentation. This has been such a fun show, being able to interact with a lot of you guys. I love seeing the chat board going and getting the conversation going here on a Friday night. It's been a whole lot of fun. As you can tell, I need a haircut. Hopefully I have one by Monday, and I'm not going to shave yet. No Shave November. Who's ever doing it? Send a picture at VM Center. Let's see how long you can go. See if you can do the full month. And if you can, I want to see weekly updated pictures. That can be a challenge. Weekly updated pictures of the No Shave November. If you guys have any last minute questions or questions that you want to have answered here on this show, be sure to put them down in the live chat now. I'll make sure that I answer as many as I can before the show wraps up here at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Even if I have to go over a little bit, I definitely will do so. Just start putting your questions down in the live chat. And hey, while you're doing that and while you're here, please do us a huge favor. Hit that thumbs up button, because the more thumbs ups, then the more likes that we have on our videos and the more subscriptions that we have, just like on iTunes. When you guys can actually go type in Fantasy NBA Today on iTunes and become a subscriber there. But the more thumbs up, the more subscriptions, the more we actually get seen on YouTube. So please do us a huge favor. Hit that thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber yet, subscribe to the show. And if you've already done both those things, you can actually do one more thing for us. And you can do this every single time we go live. And that's share this video with everyone so that other people can see what we're doing here at Fantasy NBA Tonight, Fantasy NBA Today, and of course, hoop-ball.com. As it looks like we do have another question here. It says from, I'm not going to say your name, but LAN. I have Horford and Kyrie. Okay. I like Horford and I like Kyrie. So you have two great players. Horford, unfortunately, is injured right now with a concussion, but you have two really good players. Yuha says, are you guys high on MKG this year? He seems to be better than I thought so far. 9-cat, 12-team head-to-head. He's going to be that same exact player. I mean, I'm just waiting until he slips and falls off of a screen and hurts his shoulder. And that's mean to say, but I mean, it is what it is when it comes to fantasy. You're trying to build the best roster available. He's going to be inconsistent with scoring. He's going to be inconsistent on nights, but he's going to be a player that's going to be able to produce. I just think he's going to be in and out of 12-team standard leagues. So 9-cat especially, I think he'll be in and out of being valuable in those type of leagues. But yeah, he's played well, especially from coming back from injury. Chung Lian says, just did. Perfect. Thank you. Are you guys hiring? I would love to be a part of the hoopball team. We are actually looking for writers. Great question there, Ben. If you guys follow hoop-ball.com or the great, wonderful Aaron Brewski, the founder of hoop-ball.com, we are looking for writers right now. All you have to do is email. You go write for us. I believe there's a write for us page, or join the team page on hoop-ball.com. And that you just send the email in. Send your email with your name. Send us a sample of what you've done. Show that you have interest, and one of us will be getting back to you. Xiong says, should I trade Oladipo, or you think he is going to turn it around? 11 team Roto. I'm down in field goal percentage and points. Keep or trade? I'm keeping him. This is a buy low moment for a lot of players, though. And Jokic is one of them. Oladipo is one of them. I mean, Miles Turner would be one of them if he was starting off like Jokic was, but you don't give up on a guy like Oladipo. I don't think you need to give up on a guy like Oladipo. He will help you in points. I don't think his field goal percentage is going to be as atrocious as it has been. I think he's going to get it to right around 44%, which I don't think is out of his range. So, no, I don't think you need to trade him unless you're getting something very important back that you need on your team. If you're looking for field goal percentage and points, hopefully you're getting a good center that could do something for you. But, for one, you're not going to get the value that you should get in return for a guy like Oladipo, and two, I think the upside for Oladipo is more is more to keep. It is higher to keep it than to let it go, especially in an 11-team Roto league. Super Taco, thoughts on Frank Kaminsky? Frank the Tank Kaminsky. DFS wise, he's meeting value. Not tonight he didn't, but most nights he's getting you right around 20 FanDuel points. He's gonna be a guy that they're gonna use. I mean, that he had promising moments. He has promising moments this season. Standard League, no. I think he's a 14, 16 team type of player. I know there's people that may disagree with me, and I fully understand why. The potential is there because of the fact that he can get you like 5 to 6 rebounds as well as expand the floor. But again, Spencer Hawes has been playing well while Roy Hibbert has been out, so he's been getting minutes. And just Frank Kaminsky is so inconsistent, and I don't really trust him. I really like, out of all the big men there, is going to be Cody Zeller, and rightfully so. And you saw why tonight, the 10.6 rebounds and 6 assists. Cody Zeller is going to be a player that, and again, he's not fully owned in all leagues, so I think that if he's out there and you need a big man, for example, Liam, if you have an open roster spot and you need to help in field goal percentage and points, I don't think he'll really necessarily help you in points, but he'll help you in blocks, he'll help you in steals. He won't turn the ball over that much, and I do think Cody Zeller could be a good little asset to your team. Thoughts on Terrence Jones? He played well today, but was benched toward the end of the game and overtime. He's going to be inconsistent with his minutes. He's in and out of Alvin Gentry's doghouse. I mean, he started because Dante Cunningham wasn't there because, he's driving recklessly as if he was drinking alcohol. So, and I believe it was the game before that. He didn't even see minutes. No, the game before that, he had played 20 minutes the game before that. I don't even think he saw minutes. So, like I said earlier in the show, I'm not rushing to go after a guy like Terrence Jones. I think there's value there. We've all seen what he can do when given minutes, but he's not given the minutes enough. He's not consistent enough, and that's where it draws the worry. I think there's a lot of draw to him, one, because of his name, and two, because of what he did in the preseason, and three, because of what he did for Houston. But again, I don't know if we're going to be able to see that much from him, especially while Alvin Gentry is there as the head coach. And you know what? Back to Jessica's question, I do think I can't think of anybody else, but I'm probably going to have to go with Alvin Gentry as well as the coach who probably gets fired, just because it's such a bad start. But I still think you'll get that pass only because no one's healthy. All right, guys, that is our show. Unfortunately, we ran out of time, so I didn't get to all the box scores, but we were able to answer all of your fantasy basketball questions, which is exactly what I think is a bigger part of this show than going down the box scores and giving our initial reactions, because guess what? We like to do a lot of that on Fantasy NBA Today as well. Every single Thursday, no matter what, we are doing a Fantasy NBA Today show with Dan Vespers and myself. That's for the free going forward, no matter what. Every single Thursday, we're going to be doing that, so continue subscribing here. We're going to do a couple more days of free Fantasy NBA tonight, so please hit this like button. Not this one, the one that's on YouTube. Hit that button so we can continue being seen on YouTube. The more likes that we have, the more subscribers that we have, the more people see this video. So we definitely need your guys' help. We already appreciate the support you guys have done for us. If you guys haven't become a subscriber yet, please subscribe to the show while you're hitting that thumbs up button. We really appreciate it. For those who've already done both, again, do us a huge favor and share this video. Follow me on Twitter at VMCenter. Follow the site at HoopBallTweets. Bookmark the site, hoop-ball.com. With DeMar DeRozan red hot, JB has no chance. No, JV's going to have a chance because they want him to. Hoop-ball.com is the site. Become a premium in-season member by using promo code SWISH for a 15% off the $19.99. In just a couple days, guys, that price goes up to $29.99. So get it while it's cheap. Get it while it's hot. And, of course, get SWISH. Use SWISH and you get 15% off. That's right. That's what the jumper looks like. I'm like Seth Curry with the shot, not Steph. Seth, I'll admit it. I'm a shooter. That's why I'm chunky, because I hate running, but I can stand in the quarter and knock it down. Have a great weekend, everyone. Follow me on Twitter at VM Center, like I said. Subscribe, everything else in between. Continue commenting, continue liking. And until next time, guys, good night. Have a great weekend, and I'll be talking to you all on Monday.